Royal Majesties of Caid, Alexander and Tahira, featuring a live music performance by Lord Charles Ivanson of Borreby and Lady Aurora of Finchingefeld. Me, I'm your announcer, Master Bjorn of the Northern Sea. And here's your host, Master Laertes McBride.
Greetings and good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Thank you for joining us this evening. We have a very special show tonight, as we talked about. We have the Royal Majesties are going to be here and have a chat with us. And then we have a live musical performance by Lord Charles and Lady Aurora. But, you know, the person I can't do this without is our dear friend, Master Bjorn. So, Master Bjorn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Laertes. How are you?
I'm well.
Excellent.
I'm going to get rid of this irritating graphic. Just a second. There we go. So how was your week?
It was quite well. I've learned to do all kinds of things with cheese sticks.
That leads to more questions than I think I can comfortably ask on this show, actually.
I will say this much. It looks almost like a human-walrus hybrid.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing. Slightly uncomfortable now. Anyway, you know, one of the things we look for you as our resident Laurel is some recommendations for some A&S stuff that people can go out and do on the internet and kind of occupy their time and everything. So do you have some recommendations this week?
I do. I have two recommendations this week. First, since last week was virtual tours through various art galleries and museums, this week is going to be virtual tours through some European castles. And this is from Travel and Leisure. There are a few pop-ups, just click out of them, but it is various things like Buckingham Palace and Edinburgh Castle, just a lot of really beautiful walkthroughs, so you can get your castle on, as it were.
I've actually been to the Edinburgh Castle. It's awesome. Yeah. Okay. And what else you got? Well,
the second one is, I just like we did last week when we promoted an individual, we're also going to do that again this week. And so we have Anna's New Rome, which is a website by Her Excellency Anna Dokayanina Sirikosina. It's Greek, so practice. And she has a lot of information about Greek and Byzantine research on her websites. Fantastic information. She's, of course, an amazing costumer, and she does jewelry, and her research is absolutely top-notch. As a matter of fact, before all of the, COVID-19 things, she was going to be giving a paper at Oxford later this year. So she is one of the people that is a reenactor, but also walks the walk as far as research goes, and we're very lucky to have the website available.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I want to go back to her title. So you didn't say the title. What's the title?
It's Hippotissa.
Okay, and that means?
That would be Baroness in Greek.
That's such a cool name. I had never seen that title before. We were having a conversation before the show, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, okay, so before all this craziness went on, Bjorn, and one of the things that was in the news that I thought was kind of weird was people using the sun in an interesting way to get health benefits. They would drop trowel and moon the sun, right? Do you remember hearing about this before it was kind of in the news before the...
I had heard something about vitamin D acquisition, but I thought it was something entirely different.
Well, yeah, but obviously it's a period practice, because we found this, and so maybe it's a home remedy. Well, that certainly is a homely remedy. I don't, not sure what's wrong with the fella standing above the hills, but it looks like every day is neck day. So, right. So basically, it's getting your vitamin D from the bottom up.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess that's one way to ingest your milk.
Yeah, so everyone that's having to stay safe at home, here's an option for you to get your vitamin D. So with that in mind, let's change to who we have for our guest today. Who are our guests?
Our guests are their Majesties of Caid, Alexander and Tahira, and we are very fortunate to have their Majesties with us today, and looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
All righty, well, let's bring them in. Thank you, and here's their Majesty. Hello, Your Majesties. How are you?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. That was a stunning, interesting way to segue to us.
You know, it's one of those.
Speaking of rear ends, let's transfer right over to their Majesties. Excellent.
Well, you said it, not me. So, how are you? How are Your Majesties doing tonight?
Good, but we do have a somber note that I'm going to put out very quickly. I just want to remind everyone, obviously, we all know that COVID-19 is going around now, and there are many, many things out there that are very scary sounding, and I'm gonna say one now that's going to sound scary, but it's for a reason. So in Caid right now, I did the math on this. This is the official number. There are 5,739 cases of COVID-19 in California, the entire state. 4,396 of them are in Caid. My populace, please stay home. Unless you are a frontline or somebody that has to be out there, please, please, please stay home. And on that note, because I like to see people's heads explode, I think I'm going to banish the entire kingdom from my presence. So no one's allowed outside right now because I might be on the road and you can't be there.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you, Your Majesty. So no court for me.
Right.
So speaking of which, I think you have a show now that starts on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, where it's kind of an opportunity for you to give the latest news out to the populace and to take questions about what's going on. And there was an announcement for something that's going on in April, if you want to talk about that too.
Well, thank you. Yes, April 18th, we are going to have the first actual court for Caid. On this particular day, it has to be done under, we've gone to the BOD and checked and made sure we have all the bells and whistles for this. We have the capability and we're going to do it, but we have to meet some requirements first. So it has to be done on Zoom. It can't just be done on Facebook. It will be streamed afterwards on Facebook, but the live version will be on Zoom. There's going to be more information put out on this to see how many people we can actually get on there. I think the number I was told was 300, but I'm not positive. But we're going to try to get as many people as we can, and we're actually going to do a full-blown court on April 18th.
Wow. So I know a couple of questions that came up during the World Thursday was, are you taking award recommendations for that court?
Absolutely, we are. We are always taking award recommendations. Please, please, please send them in. There are some people who need to be recognized for sure, especially during this tragic time. We need to get as many of those awards out as we can and recognize all the people who are doing great work in our kingdom.
Well, that's great. Now, some people may not be as familiar with Your Majesties as some of us are, and so y'all are based up in Winternest, correct?
Correct.
And so how long have y'all been in the SCA?
Ooh, a long time. I'm plus 30 right now, 30 years in the SCA. I found it when I started in Germany. I was in the military, a very young man in the military, and came across a couple of people hitting each other with sticks one day and was like, oh my God, I have to try that. The rest was history.
I'm only about 14 years in, and all in Caid.
Oh, very nice. So, so what do y'all do when you're not fully involved with taking care of the SCA right now? What's your kind of modern life?
Your Majesty, if you would be so kind.
I'm a nursing student that's graduating this semester, and I just got 2 job offers today, so I will be working in the hospital soon.
Wow.
She is literally one of those heroes we keep hearing about. She's working in the hospitals right now. For those of you who missed my announcement yesterday, I'm so proud of her, and truly it touches my heart. She, after doing a 12-hour shift in the hospital, she came home and went and donated blood. And for all of you out there who are watching this, please go and donate blood. No one is going out currently due to the pandemic. Everyone is staying home, and the blood banks really, really need our help. And if you'll save my lady from having to do 12-hour shifts, donating blood and coming home dizzy and really strange, I'd appreciate it.
Right, and you know the governor held a press conference today talking about looking and trying to build up the health corps, and they were looking for a lot of people because you know they're the people on the front line fighting this fight, keeping people healthy, and you know that's an amazing thing that you're doing, Your Majesty, just helping people out. It really is. So I know that's what amazing means. Her Majesty, Your Majesty. And then let's talk about your household a little bit. Your household is how big is your household?
We're over 125 members now worldwide, most of which are located here in Winter Mist. I think we have 80 here in Winter Mist now, and we're expanding.
80, that's like half the people that live in Bakersfield, isn't it?
Allegedly.
So what's your secret to recruitment? If there was like two things you wanted to follow and recommend to people for recruitment, what were the two things you would give them?
This is a question I get a lot. I hate to blow my own horn. I don't. I'm going to brag a little bit. In all honesty, it's a brutal job. If you really want to recruit, especially the age groups that we aim for, you have to open up your home. You have to go out and make a connection with people. You have to show them what SCA is really about. And I try to present that to them as how I first learned, how I came in. It was a group of guys who wanted to get together and have a brotherhood and that wanted to go and party. And unfortunately, that's what you have to do. You have to go out there and show these people the good time. Statistically speaking, it showed when we did our census a few years back that if they stay in longer than 2 years, people who stay in longer than 2 years tend to stay for 10 plus years. So you got to get them in for those first 2 years. I'm a prime example of that. My first couple of years, all I did was drink and stick jock. And then suddenly I wanted to learn how to make armor. And from armor, it was leather. And from leather, it was clothing. From clothing, it was calligraphy. All these things I wanted to do. But I had to get in with the partying first and having a good time. So how do I recruit? We have parties almost every weekend. Well, not now. But normally we have parties almost every weekend. We change our practice places. So most practices have been in the same place for 10, 15 years. Every 6 months or so, we change ours to go to a new area so that we can get some more people to see us, more eyes on us. We go to every event that we can in garb. We drive around in garb to those events. If we have business meetings, we go to the business meetings in garb, let people see us all the time, because the more people that ask questions, the more people we get in.
That's great. I mean, that's good advice when we're able to see people again. So.
Yeah.
So do you have any, well, I have one thing I'm going to ask y'all about in a minute, but so do you have any advice for the next 6 or 8 weeks for what we can be doing as a kingdom to keep getting together? Again,
we need to make sure that we flatten the curve. You've heard the term numerous times. We need to make sure people are staying at home. Again, if you are a high-risk person, please don't be prideful and reach out to this SCA family. It is wonderful. Caid is an amazing place, and we will help you if you need help to get food, to get whatever it is you need. So please reach out. Over the course of these next several weeks, as you keep hearing, it has been extended as things get put out. I'm confident that I would imagine that May is probably going to be another difficult month for us here in the SCA. And although we aren't going to make any judgments yet, we're going to listen to our local officials. I would imagine that most of our events will be canceled then as well. But stay home, wash your hands, do what you're told by the local officials. We will get through this, folks. We just have to do what we're supposed to do.
And there's a lot of great things on Facebook that you can participate in, even though we can't see each other in person. So learn new art, show people what you're working on. Let's see all that stuff that you're doing at home. Show everyone.
Right. I've seen some amazing stuff by people just sharing their knowledge and their passions and letting people come in and, just kind of build that community, that connection that we're missing out by not seeing each other right now.
Oh, yeah. Great videos online. We Zoom with all of our friends all the time. It's been wonderful. The way that this community has come together, the way that Caid has bonded itself, the little groups that are trying to connect to bigger groups online has been amazing.
So, Bjorn, do you have a question for their Majesties?
Well, one of the things that I was curious about, for Her Majesty is for people that are considered essential personnel. What do you want them to do, or what do you recommend that they do in order to take as good a care of themselves as possible? And obviously, sleep, nutrition, but beyond the essential, the basics, what other advice can you have for people that are perhaps new to this I have to be there a lot mentality that has been thrust upon us in this time?
Well, hand hygiene is the number one thing that you can do to make yourself less of a risk of acquiring a illness or a disease. So just keep washing those hands, keep hand sanitizer with you. When you come home, try and change out of what you're wearing, put some clean clothes on, wash up, just make sure that you're doing everything that you can to keep that spread of germs from coming into your house.
Thank you so very much. And Your Majesty, Alexander, since obviously we're not doing fighter practices at present, but a lot of people are being a little more sedentary, what do you recommend for fighters or fledgling fighters, people on the Rapier community, in addition to on the heavy field? What do you have? Do you recommend Pell work, or what sort of kinetic things do you recommend they do to try and keep some semblance of shape during this time?
Attack your significant others. I highly recommend that. It is always a fight for me every time that I attack my significant other.
Wow.
Of course, I'm teasing. Pell work is the key. Go online and watch videos. I can tell you that we train, when I'm training people, the majority of times that I tell them when they are stuck, if they have an injury and they can't go out, is to get onto YouTube, watch videos of the high-level fighters, the crown videos, see how they move, see what they're doing, see if there's something slow that you can begin to incorporate into your fighting style. Slow work on a Pell against a mirror is wonderful, everything of that nature.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Right. So we're now to the part of our discussion where we want to, you're in charge of the lands of Caid. So I thought we would have a little test for you guys, if you don't mind. And we're calling it
From Sea to Shining Desert Sand.
That's right. So what we want to do is, there are 12 baronies here in the kingdom. And we were just wondering in 60 seconds if you guys can name all 12 baronies. Now, if you want extra points, you can start with the oldest and just end with the most recent. You don't have to go in order the rest of the way. But if you think you guys can do this, you're up for it, Your Majesties?
Let's give it a go.
All righty. So we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock and go.
Calafia, Al Said, Isles, Al Said East, Dunor, Angels, Winter Mist.
Star Coffin.
Well, Star Coffin, way out there. Trying to go down. Navaheim, Nordbaka. How many are we on?
You're at 7.
Angels, Leondomir.
Oh, 8.
Did we say
Drybergen, Daruk. Not Drybergen, there's no such place. Al Said East. Daruk. What am I missing? Isles, Western Seas, my boys in
Dunor?
Western
Did we
Seas.
say Dunor?
I said Dunor.
Yeah, well, you have 2 to go and 10 seconds.
Oh,
Altavia.
Yes.
Almost forgot my.
Oh,
I just said Navaheim.
Orange County.
Gildenholt.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my gosh! Look at that. You got all 12 of them. That's amazing.
and Gildenholt.
And
We'll save the best for
obviously,
last.
And speaking from Gildenholt, Your Majesty, thank you so very much for saving us for last. And if I might be a little bit of an admonishment, Her Majesty, please remind His Majesty to not touch his face so much. Because, man, you were just wiping that chin down.
and
Absolutely true. Don't touch your face.
And the shires of Al Said, Daruk, and Isles are glad to know they're now baronies. So that's awesome. So thank you for playing along. Well, I really do appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much for coming and speaking with us and kind of talking to the populace. And it's so awesome. And thank you for your guidance and leadership during this time too. It means a lot.
It has been our pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
And you might want to stick around. We have an announcement for who's going to be on next week after the musical performance. And yeah, I think almost as special as you guys. How about that?
Ooh.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Your Majesties, and we'll be talking to you soon. And everyone, don't forget to tune in Thursdays at 7:00 right here on the Kingdom of Caid group page, whatever. And they'll be here taking your questions and giving us an official update for what's going on here in the kingdom. But next up is a musical performance by two good musicians. Praying for it. Thank you, Your Majesties. Now let's say hello to Charles and Aurora. Hi, Charles and Aurora. How are you? Can you hear me? I wonder if they can hear me. Oh, they can hear me because they're muted.
Hello?
Can you hear me now? Oh, hi. I think you might have muted your iPad. Hey, Bjorn, you can hear me, right?
Oh, yes, and I hear them as well.
Yeah, we hear them. They just don't hear us.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Well, this is not great. So
we can't hear anyone.
We can hear you. Let's try this again. One moment, please. They'll be coming back. Hi, everyone. This is what's called a live show. So, maybe we should rehearse next time. Can you hear us now, Charles?
Hello? Hello?
We hear you. Here, if we only had Nico here, we could do sign language.
If someone's talking and we can't hear it, if someone's seeing us, hello, Caid.
Hi. So this is Charles and Aurora.
If you can hear us, hello.
They're members of House Valentine. And we checked this out with the tech rehearsal and it was working. So they're going to perform a nice short little piece right now because I'm going to write a little sign of let's play, and then we'll bring them back and have a little interview afterwards. So here, let's
send me a message on Facebook Messenger and I'll.
Here you go. Can you see it?
No.
Hey, let's play.
I think your penmanship is amazing.
Isn't that nice penmanship?
I mean, that's calligraphy right there. It looks fantastic.
Okay, so we're going to give this one more minute.
There they are.
Hi. So you want to go ahead and can you hear me? You can't hear me, but can you see me?
Well,
This might be scrubbed.
I don't know.
No, we're here. We're going to try one more time. I'm going to send them a message. Hey, George, you want to vamp for a moment?
I think I can manage that. So, ladies and gentlemen, while we're getting this stuff taken care of, I want to remind you that if you have websites, web pages, Facebook groups, things that you would like to have featured on our show on Live from Caid, please go ahead and send them either to myself or to Laertes, and that way we'll be able to include those in subsequent weeks. We're not entirely certain how long we're going to be doing this, but as long as we are, we would like to help promote the arts. At least that's my job here, is to help promote the arts and sciences within Caid and elsewhere. And that's why we've been trying to do things both outside with the virtual tours and also from people inside, whether it was Faiza last week or with Anna's website tonight. So if there are things that you would like to see in the future, please send them to me or to Laertes, because there are so many resources out there on the web, and one person can't see them all. Heck, two people can't see them all. So send them to us so we can comb through these and help get folks that may be not quite as computer literate the information that they need in order to access some of these fantastic resources we have available. So how are we doing?
Well, I'm going to try something. I think they hear you. So let's see. Do you hear me now, Aurora? Yeah.
All but right, so while they're still working on it.
We're on. We're live. We can see you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Wow. That's why I get the big money, get to make it work so well. So hi, Charles. Hi, Aurora. How are you guys?
We're fine. Hello.
Okay, what I was talking to the people that are still here is you guys are part of House Valentine. That's correct.
Yes.
You're not only you're musicians here in the SA, but you're also professional musicians. Is that correct?
Well, in the sense that they pay us for it, yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So
When we're working.
when you're working, yeah, well, your professional position's from home right now. So,
We are.
and Charles, what are some of the projects that you've performed on?
Well, I do two kinds of work. I play in local symphony orchestras like Pacific Symphony, Pasadena Symphony. I used to play in the LA Opera. And then I do a lot of film scores. There was a movie about outer space where there was war in the stars. I played on that one.
Oh,
a
I might
bunch
have
of
heard of
those.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And others, Transformers, big robots.
Wow, I loved your robot. That was awesome.
Inspirational, the robot.
And Aurora, you perform around town too, correct?
I do. Mostly symphonic.
Nice.
Pasadena, Pacific, Long Beach, whoever wants me.
Yeah, the family and I actually came out and saw you perform at the Pasadena Pops one time.
That's
so.
correct.
That's
That
right.
was
Yeah,
fun.
it was awesome. So can you tell us about the instruments you have this evening?
Well, this is a VL. Basically, it would be the grandfather to the violin. It was a very popular instrument back in the 13th and 14th century, but it has just disappeared, and there are no longer any real ones around. So they will build them based on the artwork of the drawings of how they perceived them to be back in the day. So this is a VL. And
this is a recorder. Most people know recorder. That's survived throughout the ages. It was played in the Middle Ages and it's played today. It's a really simple instrument, wood with a block that makes this sound.
So
oops,
we lost you, Laertes. Are you there?
Disappeared.
Somebody cut the cord. Anyway, if anyone can hear.
Should we just play?
Shall we play? Wait to see if Laertes is he gonna text you?
I don't know.
We have a magical device here that we've been communicating.
There
the
he is.
internet connection dropped for a second. Yeah. So what's the difference between a VL and a viola? Because it looks bigger than a violin. It looks more like a viola.
It does
It
look
looks
like
like
a
a viola. Well, a viola, of course, would be the grandson, and this is the grandpa. So the size of this particular VL is about the size of a viola, and in fact, my lowest string is actually a viola string that's on this instrument. All the rest of the strings are gut strings. So
yeah, modern violas and violins have steel strings. There's a lot more tension. I'm a string player too. I play the bass in real life,
and I play the
or in
cello.
mundane life. So
Cello in mundane, yeah.
the instruments we play normally have so much more tension, and they're louder and they're brighter. These instruments are more soft and pleasing and much harder to tune, though.
Very much.
Much harder.
Well, that's awesome. So y'all are going to perform a piece for us tonight?
We are. Okay.
Yes.
Does it have a name?
Well, it is called La Manfredina, and the first part is a estampe, which is a slow, and then the second part is a rota, which is a fast, and
Awesome.
these are dances,
All right.
as much as I know.
All right.
Okay.
All righty. looking at the comments that are in the stream, a lot of people, it made their evening, and descriptions of like beautiful and how they miss seeing you perform and live, and how happy it's making them just to see you perform and hear the music. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming on tonight.
Thanks.
welcome.
We miss everyone.
We miss everyone too.
And really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh,
Nah,
But, you know,
no,
so-
no
I hope
worries.
you didn't hear the bad words I said when it was muted. But
Oh, and lots and lots of comments of huzzas and clapping. And I thoroughly encourage you to look at the comments afterwards. So,
okay, we will.
We
all righty.
will.
You guys have a great night. Thank you again.
Thank
And then
you.
I'm gonna bring Bjorn back in, and we'll just see what's going on. Thank you much.
Okay.
So, hey, Bjorn, you're coming. So, well, pretty good show tonight, except for the technical stuff, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think honestly, we're doing better digital stuff than they would have done in the 15th century. So we have a lot to look up forward to.
It's good to have perspective.
Mhm.
So, before we wrap up tonight, just want to thank our guests, thank their majesties.
Absolutely. I really appreciate Alexander Tahira, in particular, Her Majesty's tireless work for combating the COVID-19 epidemic, especially considering that she's just now graduating and they're already throwing the students into the fray. It's truly phenomenal what she's doing for us.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree. And again, thank you to Charles and Aurora for bringing a little music and some toe tapping to our evening. That was awesome. So, you know what? Before we go, let's talk about who's going to be on next week.
Yes. That sounds like a great idea.
So next week, we have our interview guest, and our interview guest is going to be, that's right, who is it?
It is the president of the
Great.
SCA, John Fulton, otherwise known as Duke John the Bearkiller, who will be joining us next week, and we're very, very fortunate to have him.
That's right. We'll be hearing directly from the president of the SCA about what's going on at the corporate level, how they're supporting the kingdoms, any actions that are being done from there, and kind of give us a more broader view of how what the situation is and how it's impacting the SCA on the worldwide level. And then in addition, we're going to have, as our musical guest, we're going to be fortunate to have the Bard of Caid, correct?
Indeed we are. Mistress Finella Harper will be joining us, and she is the first Bard of Caid and the current Bard of Caid. She's the only one to have held the station twice.
So that should be an amazing performance next week too. So, hey, Bjorn, thank you very much again for your support this evening and everything you do. And we look forward to, thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. And join us again next week when we're going to be live from Caid. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. Have a great evening.